Okay, so in this lesson, I want to take a look at taking this dice and right now when we have a large number, say 20 dice, it creates them, but it's a little bit difficult to see all of them within this whole screen because they are going out quite a bit here. So, um, maybe what I would like to do instead is have them kind of stack in line with each other, so have several rows of it and make a grid of dice that are going to be coming out. So let's take a look at doing that. Here, um, maybe instead of 5 units, let's take a look at making it 2 units when we move it over so that they're a little bit closer together. And see if that spacing is correct. So channel box here. Just want to select everything and paste it. Let's make sure, yeah, we have the two. So run that and I'll do 5 different dice. And that's enough space, so it's closer. Let's do 10. And maybe that's the most that I'll want per line is 10. I think that's a good number. So let's take a look at how to do that. Um, so right now we have the count doing the translate x. Maybe we can set another variable here and say row. And we'll say equals 0 to start off with. So that way we can adjust each row accordingly. And I'm going to make this row here. And then I am going to do another one here that is going to be count the way it was before. And on this one, this one's going to be the translate. No, that's not correct. Sorry. So the row is correct, but it's going to be translate Z. It's going to go back or forward. But I only want this to change if the count has gotten far enough. So let's say we have another one variable that is going to be column, and that will be equal to 0. Let's put that correctly here. Equal to 0. And then mc.set adder d6 dot translate x. That will be column times 2. So those are the two attributes that I want. And down here, I am going to make sure that column equals column plus 1 and row is going to do the same thing. Equals row plus 1. Okay, so now that we have that, they're all doing the same thing, which is a bit redundant, but we're going to change this up a little bit. So um, we can add another row here that would say, actually, and we don't need to do this right here. We'll move this in a minute, but we'll do an if statement. If column is greater than 10, then column equals 0. So that way it resets. And then this row equals row plus 1. We're only going to do it once it reaches the 10th item, so that way it moves it over 1. So that's how it's going to differ. This is going to 10 and then resetting itself, and then when that hits 10, that's when the row is incremented. And let's see if this works. So if I do 1, we only have 1 die. That's good. So if we do 10, we only have 1 row. That is perfect. And if we add 20, we have 2 rows, although it added an 11th. So we need to make sure to adjust for that. And the reason that happens is that in the code, when we're starting off, we are starting it off at 0 rather than 1. So we could either make it 1 or we can decrease this to 9. Either way is fine, but if we want to keep it to 10, let's make this 1, and here on the column, we'll make it 1 as well. So let's run this now. So 1, it's fine. 10 is fine. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. And then if we do 20, that is fine. The only problem is that now that we adjusted that by 1, we're left with a gap here. So obviously we want to stick with 0 so that way it lines up a little bit better. So we can make those adjustments quickly. Here, this is going to be 0. This will be 9 instead of 10. And this will be 0. So now that we do that, when we go back into the code and run it, let's try 20 right away. You should see everything shift over 1, and that's perfect. So if we do 100 dice, it's a little bit more manageable where it's not going out that far in just one direction. We have a little matrix of or grid of dice that are being laid out. Cool. So that's it with this lesson, and we'll continue on next lesson, plussing this project a little bit more.